I'm here and I understand the relationship from our communities, and I understand that my liberation is entangled with yours. And so I'm here lending solidarity and drawing those connections and hoping that other people continue to educate themselves and to make those connections. This is not just about a culture that doesn't see value in our lives. It's also about a monopoly on violence. Who has the ability to inflict violence on other people and populations and call it justified? This happens here in the United States, and it happens all across the globe. It happens in Palestine. It happens in Mexico. It happens all across the world, and we need to bring that into the conversation, that this is also about a monopoly on violence, and that if we want to be liberated, if we want to be free, we need to construct a notion of freedom that is free from state violence, that is empowering our communities to protect ourselves and not relying on a police force and an apparatus that doesn't know anything about the conditions that we in our communities live in. And before I finish, I want to specifically highlight what's happening in Mexico, in Ayotzinapa. So for those of you who don't know, there were 43 students that were a part of this rural school that participates in radical pedagogy, and they were disappeared by the police, by the state. And that is a reflection of what's been happening to people resisting all across the globe and throughout history. It's the same mentality and the same evilness, really, that destroyed the Panthers with COINTELPRO, that infiltrates these protests and these marches and tries to derail our message. And so I want to remind y'all to understand what's happening in Mexico, that there's revolution happening just across the border, and we are intimately connected to that, because United States imperialism creates the conditions that people are fighting against in Mexico. And so I want to do a little bit of solidarity where we collectively count to the number 43 in honor of those disappeared in Ayotzinapa, and then I want to close it off with a chant that Black Lives Matter. Okay?
Okay, let me tell you this. I was born in East Los Angeles, California, and as a youngster, the LA Sheriff and the LAPD, when we were juveniles and shit, you know what they used to do? Put their boot up or you know what, man. That was the norm. That was the norm. That was it, man. And so, hey, it ain't no lie. It's been happening since dirt, and it's happening now. So, órale, que viva! Justicia! All right, por vida!
All right, so let's start with that countdown, going up to 43 and then ending with the Black Lives Matter chant, right? How do people feel about that? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. Black Lives Matter! 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 Alright, now all of y'all to make some noise for all of the people struggling around the world who are gathered today in the same tradition that we are of resistance. I want them to hear you on the other side of the country and on the other side of the planet. Ready? 1, 2, 3. afternoon, everyone. Can everyone hear me okay? Yeah? Yay, okay. It's wonderful to see everyone come together in solidarity. These issues are not just going on in places like Ferguson and places like New York. They are everywhere, they are global, they are transnational. So I just want to say, we live in an era of security and surveillance. Security and surveillance will always come first. And for those of you who don't know, I will share with you now, Congress has authorized spying on all Americans without due process. So for those of you who didn't know, now you know. But what does that mean for us? In this era of war, rape, militarization, occupation, murder, brutality, and terrorism. An era in which anyone and everyone can be a threat to the dominant hegemonic order of the state. In particular, young people, youth of color, queer youth, and young women make up the large populations of people that the state produces and turns into criminals. The collusion of Border Patrol, police, and military presence in public schools throughout the nation needs to stop now. In different public schools throughout the nation, the police and military have been bringing in tanks to public schools. Why does the public educational apparatus need tanks to educate children? What are these tanks used for besides anything but methods and tactics of terrorism and intimidation? Some of us who do work in the prison abolitionist movement know. Those of us who do work in the prison abolitionist movement know that your third grade, that means 8 years old, your third grade reading scores can determine whether or not you will be in prison one day. Women of color make up the fastest growing population in our prison system. Future generations need to be ready and prepared to fight and combat this world of violence and terrorism that seeks to attack them every day of their lives. In a capitalist system, we live in a world of anti-blackness. Black and queer trans women remain at risk because their histories and struggles have been historically removed, which allows sexualized and gendered violence to continue upon the bodies of black, queer, and trans women and people. Our activism must work to empower those at the bottom and those who need revolution the most. We must think locally and globally. How many lives will it take for them to get that? Thank you.